you're a woman who is about to give up on love and men and intimacy, or you've already done that, you've thrown in the towel very understandably and said, hey, I can't do this anymore. If you've been betrayed, if you have been heartbroken for someone who showed up with a lot of energy and then disappeared, or betrayed you and connected with somebody else, or promised the moon and stars and then couldn't deliver, and you gave your entire heart and soul to this human being for months or years, and you're catching yourself not even knowing where to stand, saying to yourself, why do I even bother? What's the point in connecting with someone when it's going to end inevitably in disaster, heartbreak, and a missed opportunity, and you're not sure where to go from here? But the one thing you know is you don't want to go through this whole thing again. You don't have it in you to go through another giant disappointment that knocks you out for months or maybe even years from feeling grief and sadness and disappointment and a sense of lack of worth and questioning your own self, when all you want to do is have a happy life where you can thrive and enjoy a good time and have some meaning. If you're in a situation right now where maybe you've been on dating apps and you've been breadcrumbed, you've been ignored, you've been ghosted, men have shown up with a lot of promise and sparks, and then poof, they vanish into the night. And really, you're at a place where you do not want to go through this time-wasting exercise of putting yourself out there for nothing. You're done with that. Then this video is for you. Because my hope in sharing these words, and I chose every single word that I wrote to read to you very carefully, is not that I want to convince you that love is out there for everyone and all you have to do is dust off and get on the horse again, because I think that's BS. It's not as easy as that. And also, you're in a place right now that you may not want to hear that message. You may not want to hear that love is possible and that this thing can happen, and maybe that's the last thing you want to hear. But you also, if you're watching this video, there's a part of you that hasn't completely, utterly given up hope, even though it feels that way. And if that's you, my commitment today is to show you a different side, a side I promise you, you have not heard before. A different essence of how this darkness that you're in right now can be the catalyst for the biggest, most powerful transformation of your entire life. A transformation that allows you to reach the depths of your soul and emerge in a different form, like a caterpillar into a butterfly. And the night is the space that's holding you right now for that transformation, even though it seems that this is all there is. My invitation right now is perhaps to open your heart, if you allow me, to understand that the night is not your new home. It's a pass-through state that allows you to experience more. I'm going to share with you a written piece. It's a piece that took me many, many hours to write. It's not that long, but I chose every word carefully because I want to make sure that if there is one chance that I have to connect with you, to maybe inspire something in you, to maybe allow you through this new understanding of the darkness that is a transformative energy, but not the space where we get to reside in for the rest of our lives. If this happens, I'll feel so grateful indeed. All I ask of you right now is you've given up on men, you're about to give up on men. I'm not asking you to change your mind. I'm asking you for a few minutes to open your heart to the possibility that there might be a different way of experiencing that. And that I am someone who has experienced for more than a decade the blessing of helping women who've given up on this type of hope to finally reconnect to love, to reconnect with their essence, and to find the thing that they thought was not even possible. I'm not coming from a place of, I watched a YouTube video and I think this is possible. No, I'm on my feet on the ground and my hands in the dirt every single day, helping women to create what they thought was impossible. So that's the place where I'm coming from. I'm also coming from a place of having experienced love and loss and disappointment and grief and pain and suffering throughout my life. So I'm putting myself out here to share I'm in the same boat as you are, as being human who has suffered and lost and hoped and that's the piece that I wrote for you. So without any further ado, let me share this with you, and then you can maybe share in a comment how this impacts you and if this maybe opens your heart to a possibility that may not have been there before. Last week, I shared a video on YouTube that made me feel raw. I felt my breath tightening and my pulse rising leading up to the moment I pressed publish. And in an unconscious act of self-protection, I started emotionally psyching myself up for what at the moment seemed inevitable, a likely combination of low views and unsubscribes. Have you ever noticed yourself doing some version of that? Imagining a painful, unwanted future in a naive and almost childlike attempt to deal with it in advance, so if it happens, it lands with less punch? To my surprise, I was met by so many conscious women with genuine gratitude, heartfelt relief, and an abundance of generosity and appreciation in their depths of comments. To say I felt moved and validated would be an understatement. I knew in my heart this was the sign of things to come. I was viscerally reminded that the deepest truths that lie inside each one of us make our hands shake and our voices tremble. But by speaking them out loud, we allow others to tap into their sacred courage too, and perhaps even for a brief moment, feel less alone. As I was replying to the comments, I saw a new comment from a different video pop up. It was from a woman who felt numb from disappointment in her last relationship to the point of giving up. Here's what she commented. Her tag is @JSwan312. When my last relationship ended at 47 with my 55-year-old boyfriend, I knew in my soul that this would be my last attempt at finding love. I am just done. There is no appeal, no desire on my part to put in any more effort. So what I'd like to do for the remainder of this video is share my reply and then spend some time going deeper into the nature of this response, since I believe it might help you or someone you love too. Here's what I said. Sometimes going within and letting the darkness take hold is the first necessary step before dawn can break through our window again and shower us unexpectedly and in a moment of pure grace with unfiltered light. After over a decade helping women find deep devotional love, I've noticed that more people than you can imagine feel a numbing form of heartbreak similar to JSwan3112's. So my first invitation to you is that if in any way her words describe either wholeheartedly or in part how you feel about men and intimacy, to open your heart to hear, I am deeply sorry for the betrayal you've endured from a lover and the even deeper wound when it came from yourself. For feeling unwanted and unseen, especially when your heart showed up fully naked, alive, and generous. For the cold slap of indifference when you reached out to be received but were met with a door of silence shot down in your face. For the times when you risked it all against the warnings of your friends and family and were proven wrong in front of everyone you love. The humiliation made even louder by a few of them feeling the tactless impetus to say, I told you so. For the days where the seemingly simple act of getting out of bed was more than your soul could bear. For the times when you lost sight of your own beauty and abandoned yourself against your deepest wishes to the heaviness or embarrassment or shame. For the many nights when you woke up at 3 a.m, wanting out of our relationship but feeling that you couldn't. I wish my words could undo even a fraction of that pain, but they can't. The reality for many of us at times, and I include myself in this humbling club, feels understandably grim and raw. So rather than telling you it will all be all right or asking you in an elegant way to shake it off, let me invite you instead to walk with me to a different horizon. A dark and tender cave where not even the moonlight can enter, because when our hearts are broken, they don't need to be forced back into life. They need a simple bed to rest and grieve for what could have been but wasn't, for all the ungiven embraces and kisses, for the dreams that died just as they were being birthed, for the last time you held hands, unaware that it would be the last, for the jitters you felt in your gut during that first date that spiraled throughout months or years into a ride of almost and missed chances, for hundreds or thousands of little promises you whispered out to the wind in hopes they would reach your lover's heart but got lost in the desert sand. Because trying to visualize a new love when the heart needs to heal is as violent as asking your own child to run when she's learning and starting to crawl. And because darkness, if we allow it, has a deeply healing vibration, so long as we understand it as a temporary resting place rather than our new home. And this precise point is the essence of my answer to her, to you, or to anyone you love who needs to hear it. It is human and easy to confuse the seasonal, nurturing power of darkness with a new permanent identity. But darkness, grief, and all of its seeming horrors are in many ways the rehabilitative space where we can start to exhale, heal, and learn to listen to ourselves again, where we can let go of the dreams we so carefully curated so that even bigger ones can emerge in ways we could not have even imagined. I'm inviting you to feel now the many times in your life you almost wished something into being and prayed, pleaded, perhaps even begged for it to happen, and yet it didn't. And your heart broke into a million pieces and you couldn't understand why, and then always in more time than you wanted to, that wish took on a new form, a new opportunity, a new home, a new relationship, or a new job. And when it did, the bigness of it made you understand in a flash with infinite waves of gratitude why the previous version of it did not happen. It wasn't until that sacred moment that you finally felt how an unconditional love you did not think you deserved was carrying you on its shoulders all along. Especially those nights you thought you were walking solo. Moments like this make faith visible, giving us a glimpse into why, when something isn't happening now, it is not a punishment but a protection and a silent invocation for something greater, a spiritual delay orchestrated for our benefit so that it might make our hearts wide enough to be capable of receiving what is about to come, and to give us, through sharp contrast, the needed appreciation we'll need to fully receive and feel its beauty with every atom of our being once it arrives. Something perhaps so beautiful that we cannot comprehend from this grieving resting place, a welcome sunrise of pink, orange, and yellows. And as the light comes through my window, I'm inviting you to a way of being that moved me to tears through the ending of a poem by Antonio Machado. I still remember the moment I first read it in my parents' bedroom when I was 10 or 11. And when the day of the last journey arrives and the ship that never turns back is about to depart, you will find me on board, traveling light, almost naked, like the children of the sea. Perhaps what I'm trying to say is that you don't need to see the full path ahead to make it through. All you need is to let go of the need to know what's next and rest in the felt knowing that no winter, no night, no storm is permanent, and that you don't need to promise yourself to close your heart indefinitely to keep yourself safe. Embrace the night, but refuse to get lost in the darkness. Remember that all deaths are followed by a rebirth, even when we don't understand where or how or from where, like Neruda once wrote. Remember that the moment right before the sun breaks in the east is always the coldest point in the night. Refuse to give up on the love that is waiting for you on the break of dawn. Do not give up on the lover who is also aching and longing and crying for you tonight. Be humble to what you don't yet know, Be grateful for the heartbreak that cracked your heart open to finally be capable of allowing the first moonbeam back into you. Rest in this holding space until you feel a ray of sunlight about to emerge on the horizon. Smell its scent of rain and gardenias even before it arrives. Sing to it like the morning bird song does, full of faith, even like Tagore said, when the night is still dark. And when it finally reaches your eyes, take a deep breath and rise to meet it, naked and with open arms. So there you have it. This is the invitation for you to not have to rush ahead and say, it's not happening now, therefore it's never happening. It's an invitation for you to understand that this is a transient state of being, a holding space, a nursery of sorts that will keep your soul safe and allow it to grieve and allow it to heal and allow it to come back to life, because that's the nature and essence of being human, death and rebirth. Do not let this seeming death be the end of your experience of love. On the other side of love is the incredible sense of being seen and met and understood and felt and held hands and made love to and massages in your feet and traveling around the world and just having a sense of being fully seen and witnessed. That is on the other side of this dark night. This dark night is not a permanent home. Refuse to buy into that BS idea. It's not true. If you need some space, if you need some time to grieve, allow this transient moment to be the holding space for something more. If you find this is helpful, if this is opening your heart to perhaps there's more, it would mean the world to me if you share this with someone who needs to hear it. If you appreciate what I'm sharing right now, and it comes from a place of depth, and you're saying, you know what, this is something that would be helpful for me in my life, then please subscribe and like, because that's how I can reach more women. If you want my support in some way, if you want my hand holding in order to either go through the grieving process or to step into the dating world again and connect to your life partner, second link in the description will do it. And if you want to continue learning how you can attract the relationship you want without the need for gimmicks, manipulation, games, or stupid techniques, make sure to watch the next video right here.